What's up, guys? This is One Concerned American. Thanks for listening to today's show. I want to cover the series Breaking Bad. This is a show that has been continued through a Netflix original movie. It's also been expanded on through an AMC series called Better Call Saul. And I think that the show is actually filled with Illuminati symbolism. So I want to show you some instances where I found it throughout the show. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, there are going to be some spoilers here, and I'm not going to go into all the details of the show because you can go and watch it for yourself, and you don't need me to explain every single detail. Now, before the timeline of Breaking Bad, there was an episode that had a flashback about the character Gustavo Fring, where it showed his origins and how he originally tried to work with the Mexican cartel. And here you can see he was sitting with his friend who was a chemist, and they had basically come up with a plan to cook crystal meth for the Mexican cartel. And we see that the main leader of the cartel, his name was Don Eladio, was wearing a necklace that actually had the Illuminati all-seeing eye at the base. And if you look very carefully at this necklace, folks, it is a rosary, yet instead of a crucifix at the bottom, there's an all-seeing eye, which, in my opinion, reflects the Illuminati overall goal of a humanist religion in this world. Now, Gustavo Fring was actually violently rejected by the cartel. They actually shot his chemist friend right in front of him, and he saw his friend get murdered. So, this was a very dark moment in the series. Now, going to the actual timeline of the show, the main character is named Walter White. Now, Walter White was a chemistry teacher who was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer, and he wanted to try to make some money for his family before he passed away. So he decided to get into the crystal meth business because he knew that there was a lot of money to be made there. And throughout the show, a lot of crazy things happen, but it really comes to a head at the end of the second season. Walter White actually lets a young girl overdose, and he didn't know that this girl had a father who was an air traffic controller. That man goes into work one day, going through a lot of stress. He's not paying attention, and he actually lets two planes collide in midair. And as a result, out of this wreckage, a pink teddy bear actually falls into Walter White's pool. And this is very important because we see that the bear has one eye. And we also see throughout the second season that the episodes up to the finale were foreshadowing this bear and something very dark happening to Walter White. Now, we know this is an important symbol in the show because in the next season, Walter White actually moves into an apartment, he opens a drawer, and he actually finds this eye from the teddy bear in the drawer, which does represent the all-seeing eye, ladies and gentlemen. It represents God, or collective consciousness, whatever you want to call it. The fact that we can't really escape from our actions. There's some greater force that's always watching everything that you do. At the end of the third season, we see that Gail Bediger, who was a partner of Walter White's, got shot in the eye. Again, one eye symbolism here. In the fourth season, Gustavo Fring tries to take revenge on the Mexican cartel. He visits them, and he offers a gift of a fine bottle of tequila, and they all take a shot, and then Gustavo Fring goes to the bathroom to make himself throw up because the shots were poisoned. He returns to find all the cartel members are choking and dying. We actually see Don Eladio fall into the pool, and again we see his one-eyed necklace is very prominent here just before it gets ripped off of his neck. Gustavo Fring decides to keep the necklace as a keepsake, and then he takes it to the retirement home where Hector Salamanca lives. Now, Hector Salamanca, the man on the left in this picture, he is the man that killed Gustavo Fring's chemist partner in the pictures that I showed you from the beginning of this video. Gustavo Fring wants to torment this man. So he brings the necklace, he shows off the all-seeing eye, and he says, "Yep, I killed the cartel. I killed your nephews, I killed your family, they're all dead. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything." And then you see him put the all-seeing eye right in Hector's face, and then he actually puts the all-seeing eye in Hector's pocket. And he thinks that he has the upper hand here, and all this time he's also kind of in a fight with Walter White, and they're trying to come up with ways to kill each other. So in one of the most famous moments of the show, Walter White had actually collaborated with Hector Salamanca to put a bomb on his wheelchair. And we can see that as Gustavo Fring was coming to try and kill Hector Salamanca, he rings the bell on his wheelchair over and over and over again to actually set off this wheelchair bomb. And then what happens to Gus Fring as a result? We see that he got his face blown off, literally blown off, and he was left with one eye. One eye, people. I mean, how much more can this symbolism be evident? So not only do you have the one eye that falls into Walter's pool and follows him around wherever he goes, but the man who basically gave him a great job, who had done all the hard work of building a crystal meth empire, a drug empire, Walter White blew him up with a wheelchair bomb, and we see the one eye symbolism again. So this is trying to tell you something here, folks. Now, to kind of connect this all to the Illuminati, you have to start thinking about Gustavo Fring a little bit more and the actual empire that he built. It's alluded to that Gus had a relationship with a man named Peter Schuler, and Peter Schuler worked for a major German conglomerate called Madrigal. And we find out that this company, Madrigal, it does support several fast food chains around the world. It has a chemical division, an electromotive division. In the wake of Gus Fring's death, international police actually come to find Peter Schuler, and before they can get any information out of him, he actually hooks up a defibrillator to his chest, puts the hot wire in his mouth, and actually electrocutes himself, which shows us that there was some information that he was just not going to give to anybody. It's probably information that was more valuable than his life, so he took it so that he wouldn't have to give it away. Now, the fact that this man is German and the fact that all these international players are dealing drugs, this is our connection to the Illuminati, ladies and gentlemen. And to prove it to you, I want to read some excerpts from Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Fritz Springmeier. This book is one of my prized possessions, and it is in my digital library that I will be sharing with you very soon. So I want to read just a couple excerpts here. You can see on the top box, it says, in 1800, the Krupps went into steel and coal and producing cannon. During the Age of Discovery, when the New World was being explored, the powerful occult oligarchies of Europe set up trading companies to carve up control of the world. The East India Company was one of the more notable of these elite-controlled trading companies. These trading companies tie in with the occult's world's leadership and the formation of drug cartels during the Age of Discovery. The 13 Illuminati families were participants in the narcotics cartel that was set up clear back before the United States became a nation. Go back to the Knights Templars, the Knights of Malta, and some of the Italian oligarchies who had been involved in narcotics trade for centuries. We also see it says that the drug cartel has continued down through the centuries. IG Farben has been a 20th century part of the German element of the cartel. Clear back during colonial days, each of the various secret ruling occult families from England, Germany, France, and the Netherlands were given a piece of the narcotics chemical trade. So I don't think it's a coincidence that the Illuminati literally started out of Germany, from Bavaria in particular, and this show is portraying the fact that international drug trade is involved with German conglomerates. I mean, there's something there, guys. So I want to show you just a few instances from the show that I believe indicate that the creators do have some of this occult knowledge. If you watch the first season, you remember Tuco Salamanca. He had a hideout where you can see it had the black and white checkered floorboards, which are a calling card of the Masons. We've seen Walter White throw up the 666 hand sign a couple of times. And I mean, look, it could just be a coincidence, but I'll be honest with you. In my 30 years of living, I don't know anybody who ever throws up this hand sign on accident. We've also seen in Saul Goodman's office on one occasion, we saw a gentleman wearing an all-seeing eye t-shirt. We also see Jesse Pinkman wearing clothing that has a lot of occult symbols throughout the show. If you look at this hoodie in particular, you can see pyramids, all-seeing eyes, skull and bones. At the very bottom center of the photo, you can see that there's actually an all-seeing eye within a pyramid with wings on it. On another episode, we see that Walt Jr. is actually wearing a t-shirt with the Illuminati all-seeing eye on it. And remember, folks, every single TV show has set designers and costume designers that actually pick out the clothing for the character. So it's not like this kid just thought, oh, I think that shirt looks cool. I think I'll wear it. No, somebody picked that shirt for him to wear. Okay? Now, one of the other things that kind of disturbs me thinking about it now is the pizza episode. We all remember there was one funny moment from the show where Walter White brought this very large pizza to his family, and he and his wife were on the outs at the time, so she actually made him leave. And in retaliation, as Walt was leaving, he threw this box of pizza backwards, and we saw the pie actually fly out of the box and land on the roof, and it actually sat there for multiple days. Really, it just doesn't fit anywhere in with the series. I mean, we know this is about crystal meth, international drug trade, good versus evil, a lot of these type of elements, and for some reason they threw in this pizza, and we all know what pizza represents in the Hollywood pedophile community. So it could be nothing, but I'm going to say I think it was some type of occult calling card. That's just my prediction. But hey, to each his own. So that's it. I wanted to show you some of the symbolism. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think this was a great show, but I do think it fits in with some of the overall Illuminati goals. Just for the mere fact that, I mean, the main character, Walter White, said outright he didn't believe in God. The show actually blurs a lot of moral lines. I mean, at certain points, it actually has you rooting for people who are drug dealers that have inadvertently killed hundreds, if not thousands, of people. So there are some dark things about this show, and it just blurs a lot of lines. I mean, I think if you really get into it, there's nothing wrong with watching it for entertainment, but there's some sick work at play here, guys. So I really think you should check it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're a fan of the show, I especially want to know your opinion. Are you team Walt? Are you team Jesse? What did you think about the show ending? Do you watch Better Call Saul? Let me know in the comments, guys. God bless.